Alright, so basically you just attach this metal mounting mount here to the camera's hot shoe. I really like this mounting solution. Really simple and easy to use. Very secure. It almost has a premium type feel. So this is the USB-C. This is your HDMI that will connect to the camera's HDMI port. In the case of the Fujifilm X-T4, it's a full HDMI coming out from the Accsoon SeeMo, going to a mini HDMI port. You connect it there. This is your USB-C cable that was supplied. So you extend this, you put your device in, it snaps into place, and then you connect your USB-C cable, and there you go. Alright, so the unit is powered using an NPF battery. In this case, I'm using an NPF 550 because it was the smallest one I could find, so as to keep the whole setup a bit light, or as light as possible. Because as you can see, it's a bit of a big setup in terms of me having a Super Telephoto lens with the monopod and the camera having the extended battery grip. So let's talk about the gear that I'm using today. Today I'm using the Fujifilm X-T4 with the XF 150 to 600mm Super Telephoto lens. Now this isn't the fastest lens, which means that at its widest aperture, which is 5.6 f5.6, it requires a lot of light, and especially in like a wooded forested area like this, you know, we definitely need a lot of light, especially if we're thinking of shooting like birds, which require like a fast shutter speed to capture the birds being very sharp. So with the Accsoon SeeMo 4K, it for me solves two issues that I had in the past. Now before, this would have been my preferred way in which I'm able to view the composition quite clearly. It's called a Woodman loop. So what it is basically is, like on bright sunny days, you would use it like this to basically cover your LCD screen, in that it blocks out all the light and that you're able to view the composition quite clearly. Because as you know, even though the LCD screens have come a long way in the past, they're still not as bright, especially on bright sunny days. So in comes the Accsoon SeeMo 4K for Android, in which basically your smartphone has a brighter screen than the camera's LCD. So for me, it means that I no longer have to use the hood loop, because I can see my composition clearly using the bright LCD screen of the smartphone. The second use case that I use the Accsoon SeeMo 4K for is to be able to record the camera's EVF. Now before, I had some cumbersome solutions which work. They work pretty well. The Elgato Camlink 4K, that worked pretty well, but again, the mounting solution was not made for mounting on a camera's hot shoe. So I had to find all sort of DIY solutions to kind of get it to mount. This solves that in that it's an all-in-one solution, and it has a nice mounting. It's very compact, very lightweight. And what I also like is the fact that the unit, because it's powered by the NPF battery, it can also power or charge your smartphone while it's not in use. So that's an added bonus for me as it relates to this unit. The only downfall that I see right now, having used this for basically a week now, is that I'm also interested in doing some macro photography. So any kind of photography that would leverage using your hot shoe for flash would mean that I'd have to find some other way in which I can mount the Accsoon SeeMo so that I can, one, record the camera's EVF, and two, be able to view the composition. Because as you know, the hot shoe will definitely be needed for either the flash or the flash trigger. So that's the only downside that I see. So I'll have to now look into finding mounting solutions for whenever it is that I'm using flash. All right, so let's go see if we can get some shots. It's still pretty bright, so I'm confident that, you know, the lens should be able to perform sufficiently well with the lighting that we have currently. And I should be able to get some good shots, hopefully. Let's see if we can get some Blue Jays, some Cardinals. And while I can showcase the images that I capture, I can also showcase the features and functionality of the Accsoon SeeMo 4K for Android. So far, I haven't been able to find any Blue Jays or Cardinals, but nonetheless, I'm still on the lookout. I do see a bird there in the distance, but again, just to showcase the previous setup and the first problem that the Accsoon SeeMo solves for me is that, like, on a bright day like this, but not specifically right here because I'm shaded right now, but usually would have to use the hood loop to kind of shade the outside light so that I can see the LCD clearly. But this has been solved with the introduction of the Accsoon SeeMo 4K, both the iOS and the Android version. And one thing I really like about this is that I can also swivel, so I can adjust the viewing angle based on my composition, right? So if I want to go a bit lower, I can set the viewing angle like this. And if I'm shooting from up top, then I can even set the viewing angle like this. So that is really nice. But anyway, here we go. So I see one of those blackbirds in the distance, not too far away. Let's see here. So because it's wooded area, it's not necessarily overexposed, so I'll keep it at a 0 exposure compensation. Check my focus, snap. So right now with the Fujifilm X-T4, you have different film simulations, right? My favorite film simulation is, of course, classic chrome, but as I said, once I'm doing flora or fauna, I tend to set it to Velvia. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you guys. Let's get a shot of the waddling ducks. Okay, there we go. There we go. Let's go for a bit on the exposure compensation. There we go. Let's get this one here. Nice. I find sometimes these animals, they're kind of used to humans, and so at times you see them being quite curious, and at times it even appears as if they're posing for the pictures. There we go. That's one of the challenges using a Super Telephoto lens. it's usually hard to find a subject. Oh, let me just do this. Let's see here. So this is another thing I like. See, I can leverage the monopod. The camera rig is sitting on the monopod, so there's no much weight that I'm carrying, and I have a comfortable viewing angle like this, right? Before as well, I'd have to either be holding like this, carrying up to eye level. Oh, there's a cardinal. Oh, let me just snap him real quickly. If I can find him, here he is. Oh, he's hiding. Down. Down. Let's get him using. Just like that. He's gone. These birds are pretty quickly, so you have to be quick on the draw. One thing, when you're photographing birds, you have to be patient because they don't work off your timing. They have a timing of their own. So one of the major challenges I find when using a super telephoto lens, of course, any sort of camera shake is amplified or magnified when using a super telephoto. So you have to use like very fast shutter speeds, which is why you tend to want to have a lot of light, because a lot of these super telephoto lenses aren't exactly the fastest in the world, and the ones that are on the faster end of the spectrum, those are pretty expensive. Oh, look at this. Nice. Don't move. Oh. There's a blackbird right here. See, the bird is right in front of me, but it's so difficult to. Okay, here we go. Let's go down on the exposure compensation. I think that's just about right. Maybe down a bit more. Let's zoom in. Yeah, this is nice. I get to fill the frame without getting too close to spook the bird. I think this bird has like a nice red and yellow stripe on the side, but unfortunately the leaf is in the foreground. That's hiding that nice splash of color. Oh, nice. Look at this, a woodpecker. Nice. Go up a bit. I'm just mindful of my histogram. And it's gone. So right now the sun is to that direction. So any bird that I would be shooting would technically be backlit, which would mean that they would be in silhouette. So ideally, I would love for the bird to perch like somewhere in this direction so that they are being lit by the sun to kind of help with these slower type lenses. Nice. Can I get that closer? Oh, nice. Nice. Oh, come on. Look up again. What a beautiful bird. Nice rich red color. Thank you for visiting. And just like that, I have. That was good. That was worth it. That was worth it. The cardinal came right here, and I got some really nice images of the cardinal. The only thing is that at the same time, there was a woodpecker that was perched right here, and I wasn't able to capture both. But anyway, nature gives and nature takes away. So my final thoughts as it relates to the Accsoon SeeMo 4K for Android. Is the juice worth the squeeze? I would say absolutely yes. And that's because it did resolve two issues for me. It did make my workflow much easier to record my camera's EVF. And of course, as I mentioned, I don't have to walk with an additional piece of gear in the form of the Hoodman hood loop. So one gear essentially does the work of two items. So yeah, I would say the juice is definitely worth the squeeze, and I thoroughly recommend this product. So that's it for this one. Until next time, take care and see you soon.